on the proposed construction projects. If you are interested in speaking at the hearing, please make sure you have completed a comment card, which should include your name and address. After a presentation by the administration and its advisors, there will be an opportunity for public to make comments about the projects. At this specific hearing, we will ask that each person limit their comment to 3 minutes and the topic be limited to the proposed projects under consideration. The notice of this preliminary determination hearing was published as legally required. At this time, I will ask the Assistant Superintendent of Business and Operations, Brian Tom Michael, to explain the purpose of this hearing, the process of determining and communicating the project to the community and the need for the projects, how the proposed projects meet the needs, how the proposed projects will be financed, as well as the information about the effect of the typical property taxpayer. Right.
All right. Good evening. So pursuant to Indiana Code 6-1-20-3.5, the school corporation must hold 2 public hearings and adopt a resolution to preliminary determine to issue bonds or enter a lease for a project which has a total project cost in excess of a certain threshold. These public hearings and future considerations of resolutions are the very beginning of the legal process. We note that no board action is legally required at this hearing. Rather, this is just the hearing and public comment, and then we'll have another section at our next board meeting. So to get into kind of the need, so as many of us know, we are growing very rapidly. We are at 421 students again this year. Over the last 4 years, we're up over 1,600 students. So when we just heard during Student of the Month that our middle school is about 1,500 students, we've grown larger than our middle school in the last 4 years. When we look at the high school, and Ms. Denniston mentioned tonight, over 3,000 students, the functional capacity of that current building as it sits today is about 3,200 students. So we are rapidly approaching the capacity of that building as well, and really looking at how do we continue to expand our footprint on that site and expand opportunities for kids as we move forward as well. So we're going to be discussing 2 projects tonight. First one is the Westfield High School South Locker Room or athletic area and academic area addition, as well as expansion of performing arts. And then the second project is the remodel of the current Westfield Middle School, so Westfield Middle School East, and then the current Westfield Intermediate School, which will become Westfield Elementary School. As we look at those 2, so the high school project, we have $90 million set aside for the project. Looking to begin that as early as the summer of 26 and hopefully wrap up towards the winter of 27, depending on how design phase go, it may go a little longer. And then as we look at the middle school and then the new elementary or remodeled intermediate elementary project, have about $75 million set aside for those. We will be looking at doing those projects in phases over the next several summers as kids are not in the building, and then do more of the in-depth remodeling once we go through the reconfiguration and have the new buildings open and have fewer students in those buildings. So we will start some of those phases as early as this summer of, those actually should be summer of 25, and then going through winter of 29 as we go through the redistricting. So total project cost is $165 million. Capitalized interest on these with Mr. Shoemaker will walk through more in depth on all the issuance and tax rate pieces, about $6.1 million, and the cost of issuance 1.4 to bring the total project resolution to $182.5 million. So very similar to how we did on the last round of projects. We are earlier in this, so we make sure that we build capacity in the capitalized interest piece, and as we get towards the end of the project, that number will true up and come to the real cost of issuance as we get down, but in these we have to list our maximum cost. So as we look at kind of the remodel of the high school and the addition on the high school, so a long time ago when the original football field went in, there was a plan for a south kind of locker room. One thing that we've come to with that building and that campus is we will never build a single story addition onto that building probably ever again as we look at just kind of how we utilize that site. So the building you see on the screen will probably change some as we continue to go through some of the final design pieces. The next 2 Fridays we have staff feedback with Schmidt, who's in the room as well, kind of work through that and still have some tweaks on that. It was roughly a 60,000 square foot building, about 20,000 square feet is still towards athletic and student purposes on the first floor. Second floor and third floor are really more academic space. Second floor has multiple classrooms that then connect over to the main building so it can be utilized during the day, as well as a greenhouse to move some of our ag science outside. And then third floor is large group instruction space that the high school is desperately needing as we continue to grow students as well. As we look at kind of just the high school map, the color really just signifies where will work be done in that building. So a little bit of work down in the MPIF and old weight room, and then a lot of work will be taking place on kind of the performing arts area as we look at expanding that. Again, these are super early designs. We know these will change as we move forward, but working with Schmidt and then Core, who is our construction manager on the project, we feel comfortable with where the project cost estimates are at this time. Then as we look at kind of Westfield Middle School East and then Westfield Elementary School, so this is looking at the current Westfield Intermediate School, which will become Westfield Elementary School. As we look at that, every colored room is a room that will be touched in the remodel. From as simple as carpet and paint, all the way up to adding restrooms into kindergarten classrooms. As we move forward, again, we will look to perform some of these over the next several summers and next breaks as we have the opportunity. I think one of our main goals is to make sure that as we transition this to Westfield Elementary School in the 26-27 school year, that we have kindergarten rooms with restrooms in there. This used to be the original Westfield Elementary, part of the core of the building, so really taking it back to its original utilization on the campus. And then as we look at the middle school building, again, every area that is colored is a room that will be touched. Again, that goes as simplistic as carpet and paint, all the way up to widening some of our corridors and creating some more space, and then expanding some of our areas on the right-hand side of your screen, making science classrooms in better spaces as we move through it. So again, we are working with Performance Service under the design build process on both Westfield Elementary and then the Westfield Middle School East as we work through that as well. So that process will continue on as we work through, especially designing what's that phasing really look like over the next several months. And then the other big piece as we look at that, so currently we have an intermediate and a middle school that start at the exact same time. So as we move forward into an elementary setting and middle school setting, it really gives us the opportunity to reutilize that entire site in a better manner, change our traffic flow, and hopefully get all of our traffic off of 32. Now that we'll especially have two schools starting at different start and end times as we work through that. So still a lot to go into it. One of the things we're looking at is some sort of practice field between the two, which is our current bus lot that will serve that middle school campus. Similar as our new middle school campus will have the football field as well. Make sure we have that. And then also just redoing all the traffic flow through that. So Shamrock Boulevard that currently runs between those two sites is a private school road. So as we work through some of that as well, we'll be looking at how do we repurpose and reutilize that and reconstruct it to better flow that traffic and have our parents be able to move more fluidly through that site without having the congestion back up and block the hospital or block the roundabout in 32, and just how does it flow better. So again, still a lot of work on both these projects as we work with Performance Services and work through all those pieces, but a lot of work's already been put in place, a lot of planning on that end as well. So then I'm going to pass it over to Mr. Shoemaker to walk through some of the tax stuff.
Thank you. Good evening, Matt Shoemaker with Stiefel. So my role tonight, as always, is to walk through the projects, how they can be financed, and then the financial impact, or in this case, the lack of financial impact. So starting with where you guys currently are, this shows your current tax rate and projected tax rate. Shows the four funds that you have that are backed by property taxes. You can see from 24 to 25, we are expecting your rate to stay steady. Now, the one thing about this page, this is where you currently stand, but we have assumed that the Destination Westfield projects would be issued. So this includes all of your outstanding debt, as well as the authorized Destination Westfield project. We thought that painted the clearest picture of where you guys stand as of today. So the goal from 24 to 25 is to stay at $1.27. And then you can see beginning in 26, plenty of white space. There's a drop there that will give you room to finance these projects without increasing that tax rate. So looking at how these projects can come on, again, this is preliminary. Things may change, but this is our best guess as of today. Based on what Brian just talked about with the construction schedule on the high school project, we expect that to be fairly quick. So we have assumed that all of the bonds will be issued in 2025 to start and complete that project. That's illustrated by the blue portion, the top part of these bar graphs. Will be paid back over 20 years, leaving some room in 26 for the first issue of the middle school. We're currently assuming a third of the middle school will be issued each year beginning in 2025. So 25 million in 2025, another 25 in 2026, and the last 25 in 2027. We've shown how this can stack on each year. So between the high school and the first middle school phase, in 2026, we'll fill in that rate to keep the school corporation at $1.27. In 2026, the orange bar will come on again to keep the school tax rate neutral at $1.27. And then you get the picture by now, the 27 bonds will come on and keep the school tax rate neutral in 2028. One assumption we've made in all of this is that your assessed value would grow on average at an annual rate of 7%. That probably sounds pretty high, and it is high for most school corporations. You guys have averaged 14% over the last 5 years, so we would expect that number to be conservative. If you guys continue to grow like you have, this picture is gonna look a whole lot better, but we've tried to keep everything a little bit conservative just to make sure that under a conservative scenario, the school corporation can accomplish their financial goals while hitting the tax rate of $1.27. So you guys don't have a resolution in front of you tonight, but I do always like to have a walkthrough of all of the numbers that you're gonna see in the resolution next month, just so if there's any questions, we can talk through those now. So as Brian talked about, the maximum par amount of the bonds will be $182,500,000. This is a not to exceed number. You're not obligated to borrow all of it if some of the fees come in less, as Brian spoke about, but you cannot borrow more. Estimated cost of issuance, these are the upfront professional fees. All of these numbers are kind of worst case scenario, maximum financial parameters. So I'd expect all these numbers to look a little bit better if and when these are issued. That's listed at $1.4 million. Capitalized interest, we talked about this on Destination Westfield. At this point, we're building in a fairly large number for capitalized interest. Typically, you cannot start paying bondholders until the projects are complete. There certainly are ways around that, and Warren with Ice Miller is here, who can speak more about that if you guys have questions. We certainly think there are ways around that. We've mitigated that, almost eliminated that on Destination Westfield. We believe we'll be able to do the same thing here, but it's too early to know that for certain. So that's why we built in that number. If we don't have to have that, that's gonna bring that project cost down and hopefully reduce that number significantly or maybe even eliminate that. But for now, that's listed at $16.1 million. That will leave the $165 million the school corporation needs to complete these projects. The estimated maximum interest rate, 7%. We're nowhere near that right now. If you're issuing these bonds right now, you'd be somewhere around 4%. We're not issuing these bonds right now. Who's to say what's going to happen, between this year and next year? The middle school bonds may not ultimately be issued until 2027. So there's a long time horizon here, so we need to be conservative with that number. I do expect when these bonds are ultimately issued that interest rate will come down substantially. At least hope it comes down substantially. But $182 million at 7% comes up with a total interest cost of $172,205,862. Again, if that interest rate ends up coming in under that, that number is going to come down substantially. So I know that's a big number. I would expect that to come down significantly when these bonds are issued. Maximum annual lease payment, that's the highest payment you can have in any 1 year. That's listed at $25 million. The big piece on this page is that maximum tax rate impact. We talked about how this is going to be tax rate neutral at $1.27. But in your resolution, this maximum tax rate impact is going to be listed at 0.3803 or 38.03 cents. That purely takes the $25 million, that maximum annual payment, and divides it by your current assessed value. Doesn't take into account other debt rolling off, assessed value growth. It totally ignores all of that. So based on that formula, you're going to see a max impact of 38 cents. In all reality, when the taxpayers see their tax bills and they see the tax rate associated with the school corporation, that's what we're solving to hold that constant. So did want to make that point. Last two pieces of information that we have to show per statute. School corporation max annual payments. This is all of your bonds outstanding, the max annual payment as a percent of your assessed value. That's 1.0565%, and direct and overlapping debt, that is your debt and the other taxing units that the taxpayers would pay, as a percent of AB, that is 13.55%. That's all I have tonight. I appreciate it. Happy to answer any questions that you all may have. Otherwise, thank you for your time.
I got one question. This is all subject to what the laws all are on the book right now. I mean, with the new governor coming on board and everything else, and then wanting to redo everything, we can throw this out the window next year or whenever. But this is what the tax law says we can do right now and where we're at, and try and keep everybody's taxes as low as we can by building for the future and what we do have.
Yeah, that's a great point. So, you know, as of today, we know what we know. This does not obligate you to do anything, right? This is simply getting the approval for, in the future, to do bond issues associated with these projects. If legislatively, something changes dramatically, we should know that before you start any of these projects. You'll have the ability to course correct or do whatever you need based on what they change, if anything, to react to that. So we're not locking in any of this prior to hopefully seeing what they're going to do or not do during the next legislative session. But yeah, great point. This does not lock you into anything or moving forward at all if the school board chooses not to at that time.
Thank you.
All right. At this time, we will open the public hearing. Remember, if you would like to speak, you must fill out a card. Anyone? Okay. So, where do we go next? Thank you for everyone who participated in the public hearing. We appreciate your time and interest in the projects and the future of our community. Please note that this is just the first step in the legal process. Again, no board action is legally required at this hearing. Rather, this hearing is solely to hear public comment. The board will continue to work with the administration and its professionals to look for efficiencies to conserve tax dollars when meeting our educational needs. The board will hold a second public meeting in this boardroom on December 17th at 6:30 p.m. At this time, I will close the hearing. All right. Any other comments? The next item on the agenda is the approval of the consent agenda. Consent items include the board minutes, accounts, payable vouchers, payroll vouchers, and personnel report. At this time, all items in this consent agenda have been reviewed by the board in advance of the meeting and are approved in a single motion. At this time, I will entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
So moved.
Thank you, Bill. Is there a second to the motion?
Second.
Thank you, Mike. Any further discussion? All right. It has been moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Motion passes. Thank you. All right, next. Every month we look forward to hearing updates from our construction partners on projects taking place throughout the district. Tonight we are pleased to welcome Matt Grossman from Meyer Najum to provide an update on several Destination Westfield projects they are working on. Welcome, Matt.
Thank you. Like I said, Matt Grossman, Meyer Najum, just giving overall updates on our projects currently going on. As you can see here on the screen, that is a drone image from the Westfield Transportation Center, probably about a week and a half ago. You can see the bus bays. There'll be 3 canopies, so that is all the heavy-duty concrete for those bus bays. And then the front portion of the building, which is the office conference room portion of the building, and then the precast for the bus maintenance bays will be delivered on December 12th. And that portion of the building will get erection started there early December. Like I said, Westfield Transportation work complete to date. Exterior brick is in progress. Temporary weather protection is going in all the windows and doors, getting us ready for winter and our temporary heat, so we can continue on the interior of the building. Interior wall framing, bulkheads, drywall top out for Union A, which is the office side, is ongoing, as well as the overhead rough-ins for the MEPs. The Unit A roofing is complete, minus the metal trim. Stone base is in progress in the south parking lot, the bus parking lot, and the north fueling lot, back by the north canopy. The in-ground fuel tanks, as you can see in that top right picture, those have all been installed, wired up, ready for the concrete pavement on top of it. For the transportation center there, the contingency usage currently is at 9.57%. So roughly 110,000 of that 1.1 million has been used to date. So, sorry. The allocation of that contingency usage, there have been some revisions to the security fence with the middle school project to the west. Through the submittal process, the several progress meetings, through the review of the design team, there have been some minor changes overall, though resulting in a credit to the project. Those dollars have been reallocated back to the contingency. The biggest usage has been for the unsuitable soils on the site. After recommendation from Paul Witzig, we originally had lime stabilization on the project. The recommendation was to switch and use cement stabilization. So that was placed on the building pad and the parking lots. Any questions to date or on these pages for the transportation center? Working the next 60 days, as I mentioned, in the parking lot, binder installation, we're trying to get all that done here before winter, so we'll get the entire site there under binder. Precast delivery is set for December 2nd. Steel structure for the bus area will follow the precast. In-wall inspections and drywall installation will continue for the office portion of the building. The exterior brick will be complete, and the area to be under slab rough-in for all the bus maintenance bays will get started. Top right picture, you can see some of the interior metal stud framing and rough-ins going on, and then the bottom right is actually one of the concrete pours for the heavy-duty concrete where the buses will be parked. Another project, the Town Road and Citizens Westfield Utilities Project, work completed to date. Construction documents were issued for Town Road and the offsite drainage, and that was publicly bid. Coming up will be the Citizens Water and Sanitary portion. We are targeting to have a bid opening in early December for that. Right now, the design team is tracking to have feedback from citizens on the water system here by Friday, and then the sanitary drawings will be going to them for their final review and comment on Friday as well. So those will kind of overlap. Ongoing work, NDOT is tracking to have us feedback and the design team feedback by the end of 2024 for the intersection work there at Town Road and 32. The water line overall will extend from ditch and all the way at the west end at Centennial Road, and will cut across to the middle school property. And the sanitary line will extend from the west side of Little Eagle Creek at an existing structure, will extend up Town Road to the new transportation facility and across to the new middle school project. Any questions on Town Road and offsite drainage? The Westwood Operations Building. We are on track to have the full release construction documents from the design team here in late December, so just before Christmas. We did get the early package for the pre-engineered metal building, which will be the warehouse storage building on the east side of the property. We got those and out to bid, and we have a bid opening for that project on December 3rd. That will allow us to get that pre-engineered metal building package released early with the lead times and try to have that on site in March, and then mobilize early February for foundations for that structure. And then just jump back real quick on that full release for the remodel in addition to the front building. If we get those drawings in before Christmas, we will bid that out in January. Shamrock Station, last project talked about, we did receive the building permit for that on 10/25. Interior demolition has started, and as some of you have probably seen, all the trees have been now cut down on the north side of the building. Structural steel design and detailing is nearly complete, and about ready to go into production. We're just waiting on one asbestos report to make sure the building's cleared before we start tearing down the building, the north portion there here in the next week or two. Overall, everything's been going great. The weather here the last couple months has really benefited all the projects. Any questions?
A lot of work. Good. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks again. We look forward to watching these projects continue to take shape, Matt. Next on the agenda for the business and operations is the Westfield Middle School West Bid Package 3, which Brian Telmichael will present.
Thank you. So before I talk about that real quick, I just want to say thank you to Hagerman and Myron Agem and Billy Schmidt and CSO and everybody that's worked on the West Side campus. I think probably the thing that will be least noticed when it's done is probably the most complex thing that's happened out there, which is running the water line and the sanitary and infrastructure piece. That has been a monumental undertaking of coordination with citizens and everybody else, and there's typically been a weekly 8 a.m. phone call with everybody just to get that moving along. So just thank you to all of them, because it's definitely not going to be noticed once it's all said and done, but it's probably the biggest hurdle on any of these projects that we're working on. So item middle school West bid package number 3. So the district along with CSO and Hagerman continue to work towards completion of the bid packages for Westfield Middle School West. We've done multiple bid packages for the site. We've already done foundation, concrete, if you site work. If you go out there, a lot of pieces are already moving along. So this last, or at this point, second to last bid package 3 is pretty much all other work outside of our masonry bid. The masonry bid has been pulled from this approval tonight and is being rebid with updated documents. We actually had a pre-bid meeting today. We had a group show up, and then bids are due here, and we'll be back to the board for approval at a board meeting on November 25th. So tonight we are requesting approval of bid package 3, which again is all remaining work on the site. It does also include multiple alternates from the project that we're able to fit in. Hagerman's put in a ton of work along with CSO getting the project in currently under budget as we go through that, and been able to accept in all the athletic field work out on that site as well. So it will be a full complete campus as we look out there. And all the photos you've seen that have the football, baseball, softball, tennis courts, all that will be there. So very excited about that. Bid package number 3 total comes to $125,710,812.14. The admin would ask that you approve bid package number 3 for Westfield Middle School West.
Thank you, Brian. I will be abstaining from this motion, but at this time, I will entertain a motion to approve bid package 3 for the new middle school west building as presented.
So moved.
Thank you, Bill. Is there a second to the motion?
Second.
Rebecca? It has been moved and seconded to approve the bid package 3 for the new middle school west. Is there any discussion or any questions? Okay. Hearing none, say all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. Motion passes. Thank you, Brian. We will return to you for the final item, the Westfield High School overnight athletic trips.
So we have 2 field trips for athletics. First one is Westfield girls basketball team will be playing the winter basketball tournament at Northridge High School in Middlebury, Indiana on December 27th and 28th. The team will be spending the night on the 27th. And then the second field trip is Westfield boys basketball team will be playing in a tournament over spring in Nashville, Tennessee. The team will be travel from April 10th and return to Westfield on April 12th. The team will be spending the night on April 10th and 11th down there in Nashville, Tennessee. So admin would ask for the board to approve both overnight field trips.
All right. At this time, I'll entertain a motion to approve the Westfield High School girls basketball and boys baseball overnight trips as presented.
So moved.
Okay.
Thank you, Rebecca. Is there a second to the motion?
Second.
Thank you, Bill. It's been moved and seconded to approve the Westfield High School girls basketball and boys baseball overnight trips. Is there any discussion or any questions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Motion passes. Thank you, Brian. We'll now turn things over to Chris Baldwin for the second reading of batch 10 policies. Hi,
Good
Chris.
evening, members of the board. As we've reviewed and had this come up at several of our past board meetings, we are in the process of a thorough review of all of our current policies with Church Hill and Antrim. And these policies that I'll talk about to start off this evening were presented at last month's board meeting for the first reading. They are being presented for a second reading, and those policies are listed as employee discipline, family and medical leaves of absence, employee benefits, environmental health and safety issues, pest control, audio, video, and digital recordings on school property and of school meetings, community use of school facilities, corporation support organizations, and public comments and concerns. Based on input, there was a slight change to the audio, video, and digital recordings on school property and school meetings. The revised change is if a parent or guardian wishes to record a meeting day rather than shall, we've changed that to should. Should inform the corporation with 3 instructional days notice prior to the scheduled meetings. So these draft policies have been posted on board docs since October 8th, prior to the first reading. And there was input from district leaders, also from board members. Key personnel have reviewed these policies, and that was shared with CCHA, and those revisions were made as necessary. So with that, I just ask that you approve batch 10 of policies this evening with any questions.
Thank you, Chris. At this time, I'll entertain a motion to approve the batch 10 policies as presented.
So moved.
Thank you, Bill. Is there a second to the motion?
Second.
Thank you, Mike. It has been moved and seconded to approve the batch 10 policies. Is there any discussion or any questions?
These-
Oh,
Sorry, these are just updates that get handed down from laws that are being passed as far as everything else, and just getting updated with the times, I guess.
Right. Yes, they obviously review any of the legal changes or anything that's updated and make sure that language is included in there. And then it's a thorough review that's shared with all of our administrators or anybody that affects to look at those policies and then give suggestions that are then reviewed by CCHA. But
So
yes, basically it's just adding any legal language that needs to be updated since the last update.
So we're not changing things just for the sake of change.
None of these are any major changes to anything that we didn't currently already have in terms of our current policies.
all right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. Motion passes. Thank you, everyone. Now it is going to be the first reading of batch 11 policies, and we'll go back to Chris.
Thank you, members of the board. This is the next batch of policies, a much shorter list this evening for our next batch. These are presented for first reading, so there is no action that needs to be taken at this time. These policies have been publicly posted on board docs this morning for review by the public. And then also we will continue to have district leaders and key personnel review these policies and just ask for any input from board members before our next board meeting before that second reading. But the policies being presented for first reading, again, no action needed this evening, are school wellness, nutrition review, and data breach and protection.
Okay.
And then just, please, we just ask, as you have questions, please reach out. My call is the contact person for the policies, but then he will make sure it gets to the proper personnel to review as necessary.
Okay, thank you, Chris. If the board has any questions, we will let Mike know. All right, the final policy agenda item is the approval of all 2024 policy updates. And once again, Chris Baldwin.
So more policy. As we review the current policies that we have, even if we just, as we just finished reviewing, legal things change and language is updated. So we're already having to go back and working with CCHA to update language and policies that we've recently approved. So these are just revisions that are based on legislative changes and legal requirements which happen. And CCHA reviews our policies twice a year just to make sure we have the most current policies and language. So the policies that have revisions that require board approval this evening, legal settlement, and that is, there are no changes to the policy itself. It is required by Indiana code that is readopted annually per the IDO guidance. Test security provisions for statewide assessments. This is updated based on the Department of Education's 24-25 testing manual. So as those testing manuals are changed every year, we will update language in that policy. Medical needs at school. We have the addition of federal required language on school conducted required examinations. And then finally, purchasing procedures and capital assets. The language there adds various clarifications, most significantly as to thresholds for notice and construction projects. Again, Mr. Steele, to your question, these are just legal language and updates, no major changes to the policy, but just updated. And we'll continue to do these twice a year. So you'll continue to see policies updated as we work with CCH.
Thank you very much.
So just ask that you approve these policy updates as presented this evening.
Okay, thank you. At this time, I'll entertain a motion to approve the policy updates as presented.
So moved.
Thank you, Mike. Is there a second to the motion?
Second.
Thank you, Jimmy. It has been moved and seconded to approve the updated policies. Is there any discussion or any questions?
Just a note, legal settlement is not pertaining to lawsuits that we settle. It's pertaining to people.
Your residency legal settlement in the school district.
Thank you.
Correct.
In case anybody was curious about that.
Okay. All in favor?
Oh, just special thanks to Stacy for the red line versions. Those are super helpful. Thank you.
Yes, very much. Ton of work by Stacy Pratt on these policies, continues to do that. And then these, again, for the public, these policies will be updated on our website as well, so people can view this. But yes, I totally agree that it's a lot of work.
Thank you, everyone. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. Motion passes. Thank you, Chris. Dr. Ryan Hoover is sitting in for Dr. John Atha this evening, and the first item on the curriculum agenda is the 2025-26 Westfield High School course catalog. Welcome, Ryan.
Thank you, Ms. Wells, members of the board. Annually, Westfield High School updates its course offerings and provides course catalog to guide students and families in the planning and scheduling process. We began that scheduling process for the 25-26 school year. That begins in December. This process includes updating courses, adding courses and pathways, dropping or sunsetting courses. We use data from the state, universities, workforce, and most importantly, student interest to make these adjustments, additions, and deletions. Before you is just a quick summary of all those changes that we're going to make in the high school course catalog. As you guys are well aware, the changes in the high school diploma this in particular last year has obviously been a major impact on this. And then also the addition of what's called the Indiana College Core, which is a block of general ed classes that students can take at the universities that are transferable to all Indiana universities, or all Indiana colleges and universities. And that's state mandated now that schools participate in that. So we have, that is the brought before you for your recommendation.
Okay. Thank you. At this time, I'll entertain a motion to approve the 2025-26 Westfield High School course catalog as presented.
So moved.
Thank you. It's been moved. Is there a second to the motion?
Second.
Thank you. Who's getting it? Mike?
Mike.
Mike? Thank you, Mike. It has been moved and seconded to approve the 2025-26 Westfield High School catalog. Is there any discussion or any questions? I have one question, Ryan. The new pathway is not for the juniors and seniors, it's for the
Upcoming
freshmen.
Yes.
Right, okay, thank you.
So ultimately, the sophomore, juniors, and seniors will stay the same.
Yeah, it's just this year's freshmen.
Correct. This
Yeah.
is starting the first freshman only, and then we'll have to kind of update. So
Yeah.
it's going to actually be sort of 2 catalogs for the next 4 years.
Yeah,
And then we'll start doing the freshman catalog once we have final recommendations from the state on what that diploma looks like, because we want to be able to allow our students to start off with exactly what they need that freshman year.
yes. Okay, thank you. All right.
Dr. Hoover, do you have an update? What's the status of the changes and when do they hope to have that finalized?
Well, so it's been ongoing. Ultimately, we're hoping by January 1st of this year that will be, which is late. We really started doing this work in December. We're hoping sooner, but we're already talking middle of November. So now I will say we don't expect or anticipate any major changes. Like right now, what we have in place, we believe would meet all the expectations and it would be adequate. So we feel we're out in front of it, and our high school administrators did an excellent job on this. But just until we have that final recommendation from the state, we just want to make sure that we don't bring that to you for offer of recommendation.
Okay. All right. Now we will vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. Motion passes. Thank you, Dr. Hoover. We will return to you for a curriculum update.
Thank you, members of the board. Just a quick update, two things. One, I wanted to let you guys know that tomorrow evening from 5 to 6 here, we'll be having our second CKLA parent/teacher advisory committee. If you remember, we met back about 6 weeks ago with about 20 to 25 members of the community, and that's from various schools, obviously K through 5 mostly, just because that's where we're utilizing the CKLA curriculum resource. But at the first meeting went very well. I anticipate tomorrow's meeting to go very well, as well. We will be looking more tomorrow actually at the resources and some of the associated content. The first meeting was really more of an overview of the process. The next 3 meetings will be more kind of breaking the content. And we specifically set these up where we will meet with our parent advisory group tomorrow evening, and then on Thursday, we will have our November monthly ELA meeting, we actually have 20 minutes within each meeting to bring any feedback from our parent advisory committee. So the timing of it actually matters, because we want to make sure that we are not just sort of going through the motions, that we're actually giving our parents an opportunity to share thoughts that then I bring immediately to the committee the following day. So that's worked out very well. And then the other update was last Thursday, we have one of the benefits of us being a highly effective school system is that we get the option to have professional development days throughout the school year. And as you guys will know, that we tend to use those days, K-12, to do a multitude of professional development. Last Thursday was one of those first days. So at K-12, we had, you'll have on your agenda, there were agendas for each of the levels. K-4, we did a lot of work with CKLA, and our instructional coaches once again did an amazing job working with our teachers. One of the things we did do this time, because just sort of listening to our staff at that level and knowing how much of a shift this has been, instead of really taking on new learning, we really kind of dove deeper into what we've already done. And that was highly appreciated by our teachers, just because it gave them a chance to work with their coach, with their team at their buildings. 5 through 12, we did a multitude of things, everything from pre-AP work at the high school to PLC work. And then all this was also capped off with parent-teacher conferences on Friday. So we had all that kind of wrapped into our 2 days. They went very well. And then we'll do this again in February. February and March will be a little different. We'll do 2 days that are not back-to-back as opposed to November. But all in all, our curriculum team, our instructional coaches and teachers continue to do an amazing job.
Thank you. All right, now we will turn things over to Ashley Nutt for a community engagement update.
Hi, Ashley.
Thank you. So the first one I'm going to start with out for community engagement is I'm thrilled to share that each school will be receiving an adaptive gardening table for students with disabilities. So it was built by CSI Signs here, locally by a Westville graduate. This accomplishment is a direct result of the work we've done with the ROC Sustainability Team, led by Nikki Heflin. 2 years ago, the Westfield Education Foundation received a 3D grant from Engage, Educate, and Experience. And this is just one piece of that puzzle, but they will be delivered this week, and being able to bring that life-ready mission opportunity for to get their hands dirty and grow and learn for all students. So it's pretty exciting. Holiday Giving is open, which is Westfield's program that partners with Westfield Youth Assistance, open doors, local churches, businesses, and organizations to serve over 1,100 students this season that need some magic. We'll deliver over 4,000 presents. And I want to give a shout out to Matt Gaylor from Inspired Church. He has definitely been a collaborative partner for me on this, really working with the churches and the local community. So it's a collaboration that makes something like this possible to serve that many students. We've had a lot of families jump in and ask to help. The Shamrock Supply Hub has been open now for a little over a month and a half, and we've had over 50 applications from teachers across the district asking for support, and that was supported by Pulte Homes, Walmart, and BJ's Wholesale. No funds come from the district. It's all a donation-based program. So we're able to serve and deliver calculators, Play-Doh, backpacks, a variety of student assistant needs that make them students. Rocks Giving is amazingly only 2 weeks away. I can't believe it's coming so quick. On Monday, November 25th, we will offer a free holiday meal from 5 to 7 at the high school for anyone in Hamilton County. And we invite everybody to come and enjoy turkey and even pumpkin pie. So this again is another collaborative effort from Duke Energy Foundation, Costco, Texas Roadhouse, Riverview Hospital, BMW, Coca-Cola Consolidated, and Northview Church. So we're excited to celebrate and share, I think, our gratitude with our Westfield families and community. The Westfield Education Foundation scholarships opened Friday last week. Last year we awarded 10% of our graduates received a scholarship from the foundation. We are working to build several more scholarships so that we can keep that same percent of awarding. And it's really just awarding that rigor that they do while they are with us and on their educational journey. So we're excited to announce some of those new scholarships here soon. And then Bourbon and Bling is our fundraiser that just opened on Monday of this week. So that's another exciting opportunity to help us grow funds and celebrate again the holidays with our community.
Thank you, Ashley. Now, the board and Dr. Kaiser to share success stories from the past month.
Almost a month ago, but we celebrated our evening of excellence. So just congratulations for all the hard work of our seniors that are here now working out for being excellent at the end of their junior year. So congrats to all.
I'd just like to thank all those fall athletes, band, all the activities that have taken place. We still have some competing with some athletics, and equally important, we have the school play next week. There'll be a lot of information in the Shamrock Glass coming up Thursday. There even is an opportunity to bring the kids in this Saturday to do some fun activities leading up to the play next Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So again, look at your blast. There's a lot of great information. It should be very Dr. Susie, and should be fun.
I just want to say congratulations to the football team winning sectionals again last Friday, and good luck to them Friday at Fishers. I know I will be there.
I will be there also. The little things in life that I get excited about, and one is the update on the picture, being on the school board, that we get an update on. We actually have hair on my head this time, so that is a good thing. I'm very blessed, and I thank everybody for their prayers and for the fact that I am here and able to help out.
I'd like to give a shout out to a former student, graduated in 2022, was a football and rugby player for us. Took 2 years off of rugby for the last 2 years, first 2 years of college, and then he decided to go back, and he's playing rugby for your Indiana Hoosiers. He started out as a JV kid at the beginning of this past season. He's now a starter for the Hoosiers. His name is Dalen Blanding. Great job.
And congratulations to Kerry Larison, who will be joining the school board in January.
All right, yes. And congrats for being there. Our next regular board meeting will be held November 25th at 8 a.m. here in this room. Yes, November 25th, 8 a.m. in this room. Can I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
Is there a second to the motion?
Second.
Meeting is adjourned.